Alright, what I got here is a custom handmade ABS. I don't even know what kind of chassis you would call that, but it's basically a tub chassis. I made this myself. This is one of like 3 others I made. I'm not using this one, but this is just an example to show you. And it's about 1 millimeter thick, this ABS plastic. And I'll get back to that later, and there's a reason why I went to this. But so the next thing I want to show you, get rid of that, is because I wanted to go lighter, because my chassis is too heavy and it caused that rim to split. And I didn't think it was possible to break a rim, a plastic rim nonetheless, but I did. And so it's bent, so I decided to go lighter. And in that process I thought, well, aluminum's pretty good, should probably use aluminum. So in order to achieve better results, I decided to have my template sent out to the machine shop to make an aluminum chassis. And this is what they sent me here. Come on, focus. There you go. And it's just mocked up, kind of dry right now. It's really not even functional. It's actually quite worthless. It looks like they sent their blind guy out to do this modification, and as you can see, the front and rear differentials do not line up at all. This is just stuck on here for visual. They do not line up, so this is not even usable. This is done by a machine shop. I would think I would get machine shop quality, but I did not. Not even close to accurate. It's amazing that I can produce something better with a handheld drill and a square better than this. But it's not totally lost. I can oversize these holes and lay that plastic in there and still have a sturdy chassis. And then these will just basically act like a countersink, and I'll bond the plastic to that. Anyway, that aside. And this was the template I used. Basically, this is the A242 chassis. I split it. I picked a spot in the middle, split it, and then I put these little tabs right here are about where the wheels would stick out. So I just glued it to a board. You can see those lines right there. That's about where the wheelbase is, or should be. It might be a little off on camera. Yeah, it's a little off on camera. So that's about it right there. Then I drilled the holes. I marked off all the holes I didn't need, and just went through and carefully, using a 3/32 drill bit, happened to work out perfectly, and drilled all these holes into my plastic. And then I heat formed this. Heat formed it and bent it. And as you can see, the little tabs here on the rear I bent up and over for a reason. And the ones on the bottom, I know it looks like crap, but I folded the ones on the bottom because your vehicle's always moving forward for the most part, and I didn't want it to snag on like a lip, like right here. So that was the purpose of that. Oh, so if you decide to build one of these things, I don't know how well that, you see that little gray line right there? Don't score it on the side you want to bend. Score it on the inside, or scribe is what I was doing, so I can see the lines where I wanted to cut and form. Scribe it to the inside, because what's happened is, let's see if I got another piece of it right here handy. Yes. It actually breaks. A little break. So yeah, I got a piece to stick with that, to glue in place there. So again, this is just a demo to familiarize myself. This stuff is really cheap on Amazon. I paid $19 for 3 pieces of 12-inch by 24-inch ABS. I think next time, if I decide to do this, I'll probably go with a 1/4 inch or 3/16 or something like that, something thicker. It is fairly flexible, and that's the weak spot of this. So that being said, we'll move on to the next thing here. Back to the car. I'd take that off, put pause because the phone's ringing. Okay, so as you can see, the tub protects everything a little better. I did have to notch a little bit off the top through here to make room for this steering and the suspension arm here. I wasn't sure how much I needed, so I just went ahead and notched out about 1/4 of an inch of it. Sorry about the spider webs, I was test driving it. This is a lot more loose now, at least on this smooth concrete surface I typically drive on. Focus. But on something like a carpeted track or a foam rubber track, this would probably be a pretty good setup. I had to add 1.5 ounces of weight to that side because of the battery. I'm going to use this as my dedicated battery. This came out of one of my helicopters. And the reason I use this one is because it's got a nice big long, they call it balance lead, which is what this Wltoys uses. So to keep the chassis rigidity on the front and back, I did retain this top plate. And you've probably seen it in another video. I did destroy this pivot screw here, this pivot point. And that one right there, if you have the A242, you're probably familiar with it, or a similar vehicle. But I did destroy it, so I ran an M3 through there, and it works out just fine. Just don't over tighten that nut very much. And so you will need rigidity here. That stops this axle from folding back and forth and back and forth. And I did add some JB weld to the seams where I did bend it, and it showed hairline cracks. I don't know if that's going to do anything or not, but this is just a lesson learned, and inspire your creative abilities. I know I like to do these kinds of things, so the next one should be better than this. The next one, I think I'm going to work on the Dodge Charger Daytona. Alright, have a good day.